Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about something that happened this week that kind of bothered me. Um, I don't know what to say about a lot of our youth today. I just know that we just got a lot of work to do as parents. Just got a lot of work to do. Welcome to this week's weekly Gripe broadcast. Today, I want to discuss this young man right here who pretty much slapped the teacher on camera, and the video just went viral, to where he slapped it twice on camera, mainly for views and likes. We don't know allegedly for views and likes, but pretty much so. Why else would you walk up to a teacher and just slap her twice unprovoked? So we'll get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, I know way too many teachers and former teachers at that, as well as friends who will not let this happen. I I know a few that actually have said, hey, that would have been possibly my last day of teaching. And you know what? I used to be an after school counselor myself. Never been physically attacked by any students, but I know personally that'll be the day I walk off if something didn't happen immediately. But we'll get into all that here a little bit. Let's get into the story. The picture behind me stems from an incident that happened last Monday at a high school in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, in which a young man slapped a teacher twice while the students recorded it. That teacher, who had the patience of Job, might I add, declined medical attention and returned for work that next day. I mean, she's a lot better than me. Basically, she didn't rise from a seat and celebrates herself for that second slap. She really wants, but in today's society, you're not supposed to touch the students. It's like so much is going on. One of the rules is you do not touch the students. I digressed. But the 40-second video, however, was enough to piss off the entire community. When I mean the entire community, I'm talking about parents, school officials, and law enforcement. Even public officials were very upset. This is something that should not happen. It should not happen in it. They just can't let it go on. Now, Tuesday, the student was arrested and charged with 3 misdemeanors for assault and communicating threats. This is all according to the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office. So remember, he hasn't been convicted, so this is all allegedly, even though we do see him on camera doing what he's doing. My friends, my people, first of all, before we even get into this, miss me with what the teacher do question. It's not always a teacher who provokes a kid from doing something stupid. I'm sorry. A lot of times the kids just like doing silly stuff just for their friends and to get laughs, things like that. There are plenty of situations where you get, not all kids, but one or two, each school's got one or two. They didn't have to be triggered. They just say, hey, I'm gonna start some shit today. So, and they decide to start some shit. Those are the ones out to impress their friends. And, I personally wouldn't be surprised if the kid wanted to be taped on purpose. In fact, this is almost like a watch this situation. Now walk up and I slap the shit out the teacher. And while I'm on the subject with missing me with shit, miss me with the whole thing about it could be staged because whatever's going on, the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office is taking it very seriously. So if it is staged, they will find out. But now it's time for my take on the subject. Basically, I feel this all starts at home. I'm not blaming all the parents. I'm not blaming all parents, but some of us. And I say us because I'm a parent too. Some of us who do all we can for our kids, and some even still leave the house and become assholes. We sometimes, Sometimes we can help it, sometimes we can't. I understand. I don't know if it's peer pressure that makes him an asshole. I don't know what happened, but it happens. But then there are the parents that will go out there and do the most as well. They don't care if the kids slap the teacher, terrorize school, hurt the students, make bad grades. They'll be the first one to say they're just being kids. Why you calling me for this? Why you call me for this? They're just kids. Or, they'll attack the teacher's job for saying, well, if you did your job correctly, A, B, and C wouldn't be doing this, or you wouldn't have got slapped. You do have some parents like that. Now, however, again, you can't touch the kids. But I digress. We keep making excuses for these kids when they get in trouble. But problem is when they get into some trouble you can't get out of, now all of a sudden you want to save them. And what I mean by trouble, I mean serious trouble, like when their life is on the line. With the way the police are set up today, with some of them, bad police, with a lot of them police are set up today, you do not want to be on that bad side. With the way the violence is among teenagers, you do not want to be staring at the barrel of the gun. See, whenever some serious stuff happens with your child, then you want to act. We can't act then. We have to act right now. These are our kids. These are the ones that are supposed to be outliving us, going out and making a future for themselves and their families. I'm not missing words. We need to get a handle on our kids. And none of our kids are perfect. I mean, it all starts at home. We have to let them know what we allow both in and out of the house, even though we can't control what they do when they leave. But we can actually put stuff in their heads. Because see, what kids must understand is they represent you when they leave out the door. Now, I've taught mine as others have taught theirs to always respect adults, especially teachers. And they can always come to us if they have a problem with the teacher. Now, I'm not saying all teachers are perfect either, because you do have one or two that, will be assholes toward the children as well. Not all, it's just, very small fraction. But when they do, and not exactly big assholes, or maybe just a point where a teacher and student clash, and a couple of meetings with the teachers would more than likely fix that. But this here, I'm sorry, this is inexcusable. And I hope this young man realizes how much trouble he's in for doing something just for a laugh or likes or whatever. Now, if I was a teacher and I was slapped once or twice, or at least attempted twice, Lord knows. I know we're not supposed to touch kids, but you will not be able to get a second slap in. I'm sorry. When that second that second hand rolls around, I'm grabbing it. And something tells me I may lose my job and possibly be in some handcuffs later that day. Because you're a high school kid. And like I said, I used to be an after school counselor. So I used to work with kindergartners through fifth and sixth graders, meaning I'm working with little kids or preteens. I've actually handled violent situations during those tourneys. And even when they turned violent, I was able to handle those. Again, nothing towards me personally, but I was just able to handle those violent situations. However, in high school, you're almost an adult, buddy. In fact, by that time, the kids were mainly towering the parents in height, meaning they're going to try whoever their authority figure is, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a parent, whatever. They gonna try them. And see by that time, they gonna see what they can get away with. With that said, that means you're close to an adult. Meaning you put hands on me, it would take all the restraint in the world to hold me back. Or I would have to lose my job, or I have to do some jail time. One way I feel to prevent this, however, is to start investing in our kids again. And I'm not just talking money, I'm talking time. I mean, we should already be talking to our teachers, talking to our kids, How many teachers meetings do you go to? How many parent teachers conferences do you go to? Do you talk to kids about their grades? I mean, do you talk about their hobby, their life, their dislike, their boyfriend, their girlfriend? Well, do they want to do a job? Do they want to work a job while going to school? Do they want extra money? They're trying to go out with their friends. It's like, what hobbies do they have? What future plans do they have? And you're not getting in their business per se. It's just taking out time to prevent these things from happening. Parents who have relationships with their children are less likely to have issues when their children leave the house. Complimenting your children doesn't hurt either. I mean, you got to let them know how much you love them. You got to let them know how much you're proud of them. I mean, again, it doesn't always prevent this, but at least the child knows, hey, whatever happens, my parents got me. Unfortunately, we do have to hold our kids accountable when they're wrong. I'm sorry. When they're wrong, we got to let them know, hey, you wrong, and you will be punished for it. I mean, we have to listen to our school officials before jumping on them. The kid makes a bad grade. Why are we jumping on the teacher when if the students be able to do their homework every day? Why are we jumping on the teacher when stuff like this happens when obviously it was done for a laugh? It's not always the teacher. I had this conversation last year when there was a teacher student fight over a phone that was taken, and someone had said, well, why did you take the student's phone? The student's not supposed to have the phone. And I remember when I was in school, if I had something that I'm not supposed to have, a Coke can, a toy, or, we didn't have phone, but if I had something I wasn't supposed to have, it hit the teacher's desk. Once it hit that teacher's desk, I either gotta either wait to the end of the period, end of the year, or my parent would have to pick it up. And you don't want the parent to come pick it up. So, so long story short, we have to keep investing in our kids. We have to make sure our kids are doing right. We definitely have to hold our kids accountable for this shit here. Because social media will tear them apart. And I personally feel he did this for the likes of the views on Instagram or TikTok or whatever social media he was on. However, I'm not saying social media is bad. Social media is actually great. It's how you use it which is bad, which still be another gripe in the future. Well, that's my weekly gripe. Stay tuned for my bonus gripe, which will be on relationships coming up.